Anyway, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to yet another Why I Hate on potentially one of the most recently broken characters to date. With the mid-season tank update fresh off the press, Riot has kicked down the door to your mother's house, jumped on her coffee table while she was having her breakfast, and taken a massive steaming shit on her scrambled eggs, and then disappeared into the nearby forest to live in a cave and work on the Urgot rework. That is essentially the mid-season tank changes in a nutshell, and Sejuani is the piece of corn in that big steaming heap of excrement that survived being pushed through the crushing and destructive colon of the League of Legends update process. That's right, as if the tank meta wasn't fucking bad enough, we've had Zac flubber fucking into lane to steal your lunch money and give you a wedgie. Nautilus was an unkillable juggernaut, capable of not only being a support that could peel and tank any damage on planet Earth, but also make your dad go gay, and Galio and Amumu were so brokenly easy to abuse for LP, they might as well be making out with your girlfriend right in front of you. With all that said and done, with tanks basically running the goddamn show that is League of Legends, they were apparently not quite as intuitive enough and deserved a rework. That what a surprise, walking into the enemy and letting them kill themselves on you, it isn't intuitive. Who fucking knew? Sejuani got this treatment, and we're gonna go through her today. And I'd go through her. I tell you that. Whoa, look at those big boar tits. Oosh. I never really even thought that Sejuani needed a rework all that badly. Now, while she's never been that highly a picked character, she was always a really fantastic pick in my eyes. She had plenty of peel, massive ulties, and she had a good jungle clear. I mean, shit, Zac was like picker ban for a good period of time before his rework, and Riot decided to just make him this big, weird, flubber, dubby fuck with Stretch Armstrong sticky hands and an ulti that transforms him into a literal pool of piss on the ground. I don't really see the logic in that one. But anyway, Sejuani's passive is probably the most disgusting part of her kit, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. It makes her jungle clear completely insane, to the point that she takes barely any damage, and in teamfights, she can engage and take no damage. Or if she's engaged on, she can intentionally soak as much damage as possible, because to her, it will feel like a clearly retarded white kid between the ages of 15 and 20 trying to smash a car window down with his own forehead. Oh! Now, as oddly specific as that cutaway was, Frost Armor is a passive that works in two parts. The first part of which being that if Sejuani doesn't take damage for a certain period of time, between 9 and 15 seconds, she covers herself and her boar in ice, becoming immune to slows and gaining 100% bonus armor and magic resist. Now, if you're not a learned mathematician like myself, let me put that into simple, incredibly dramatic, and completely over-exaggerated terms. She doubles her fucking armor and magic resist. This persists up to 3 seconds after she takes damage from a champion. Not even just any damage source. Champions, and I believe maybe large minions may proc this as well, meaning that you can clear camps very easily, gank even on fairly low HP, or quite literally sit under towers and tank them whilst your team slowly chip away at its HP, because each tower hit will do a grand total of fucking nothing to you. Seriously, I'm going to do a quick demonstration for you on how long Sejuani with a normal build can survive under an inhibitor tower. It shouldn't take too long, so let me just cut back with the results for you. Hey, I'm Ross's twin brother, also conveniently named Ross. He spent the entire week since the last episode of Why I Hate recording that last clip, which ended up being 4 terabytes in size. He tragically forgot to eat, drink, or go to the bathroom whilst recording due to lever buster, so he passed away. I found him slumped over his keyboard, so let's just have a quick moment of silence for the poor man. Right, that's enough of that. The channel belongs to me now, and I'll be taking all that sweet, sweet revenue instead. I'll be opening up my merch store, a Patreon, a Fiverr. You can subscribe to me on Twitch, or just donate directly, guys. Thanks. It actually turns out that Ross made a lot less on YouTube than I actually thought. The second part of this passive, though, is that enemies stunned by Sejuani become frozen, and the next basic attack or ability against them shatter the ice, dealing up to 20% of their maximum health as magic damage, or if it's against monsters, it just does 400 flat damage. Now, what's the one thing you don't want a character building tank doing? It's probably damage, right? You don't want a character building full tank and dealing fucking the most damage on the team. It's bad enough playing AD sometimes, smashing away a tank who is not only regenning faster than you can damage them thanks to a Spirit's Visage and a Warmogs, whilst you basically beat yourself to death because they have a Sunfire Cape and a Thornmail with 800 armor. But if you get even stunned once, you're about to get chunked for 20% of your health and forced to write ADC in 2017 lol in all chat. That is what Sejuani's passive is. That is what it makes her do, and that is what she do. Let me go! Let me go! Let me out of this fucking slow! This isn't just against squishies though, remember. No. Even tanks are not safe against Sejuani. It doesn't matter how many stacks you have on a Cho'Gath. 20% is 20% with no exceptions. Sejuani is the genuine definition of blue balls in this case because she freezes them and smashes them to pieces, making you 20% less of a man. Arctic Assault is her Q, and it's pretty much entirely unchanged. You press Q, you go oof towards the enemy on your boar. It knocks people up, deals a bit of magic damage. Honestly, not the main event in the spotlight, beyond being a gap closer for someone that needs to get incredibly close to you to make your life a living hell. But Winter's Wrath is her new W, and it's a little bit strange. Works kind of similarly to Tariq's stun, where if you point it in that direction, she flings her flail out, knocking minions back, dealing AD damage that scales with her own max HP. Now after the first hit, she narrows her attack down to a straight line that she can move around while it casts, dealing more AD damage that scales with her max HP. It does a little bit more, and it also slows enemies when they're hit. It's sometimes a little bit fidgety, but if you do hit it, it does also apply stacks for Sejuani's next ability, which is called Permafrost. It's her E, and it's equally as fucking fidgety as her W, but for completely different reasons altogether. Melee attacks from you and nearby allied champions apply stacks of frost similar to how Braum works. When you hit 4 stacks, Sejuani can hit her E, and it can freeze the enemy for up to 2 seconds, which leads to her passive, where she smashes them into bits for a bajillion fucking damage. It's fidgety because I felt that at certain times, you've hit those 4 stacks on an enemy, and I'm smashing the shit out of E, trying to get it to proc, and for some reason, it just completely refuses to freeze the enemy champion. But once it actually does work, Jesus Christ, I mean, you just dive onto the enemy backline, you start causing havoc, and you are guaranteed to make the enemy carries back the fuck off if they don't want a big stinking icicle up their ass. Now, it's not as OP as Braum's, because ranged champions can't proc this, so if you're the only melee champion on your team, you're kinda shit out of luck. But yeah, if you're lucky enough that it actually does work when you press the damn thing, the cooldown is 1.5 seconds. So provided you actually have some melee attackers putting in a little bit of work, maybe your support or your top laner, you can easily freeze up to half the enemy team between you and those 2 other people. Also making ganking top lane and bot lane way easier to get stuns out just to brutally fucking destroy them, to the point that if you were to post a highlight of it, it would be featured on Pornhub. Her ulti remains pretty much the same, throwing a big ice ball at the enemy like Nunu on steroids. However, it only stuns one enemy tops now instead of being able to stun an entire team if they're in the vicinity of it. Now when it hits the target or the ground, it creates a storm, slowing every enemy in it for 30% and shattering after 2 seconds, dealing more magic damage and slowing for 80%. Now in my opinion, whilst the ulti is a lot more reliable to hit because the radius of the ulti is huge, and those big 3-man ultis were really not all that common in Sejuani games anyway. It was very uncommon to have teams quite as retarded enough as to clump up in like a 4-foot radius for you to hit a big ulti on them. It does seem like a bit of a bummer to not get those ridiculous moments where there's just complete silence in a game just after Sejuani has frozen 3 people. The enemy team are in a complete state of panic, and your team has just gotten the green light to go absolutely fucking buck wild to their heart's content on what is essentially a tray of ice cubes. But I'm kinda torn about the ulti. I'm a little bit indifferent about it. So what do you think? Do you think it's an improvement or a big nerf? I kinda don't really give a shit because she's fucking cancer anyway. But, you know, if you want to post your opinion in the comment section, feel absolutely free. Well, anyway, guys, that was the end of this Why I Hate. Thank you very much for watching yet another one. If you want to post some suggestions down below, if you think the ulti is good or not, or if you want to post your suggestions for the next one, I'm more than happy to listen to some. I'm kind of up in the air about which one I'm going to pick next. I picked Sejuani because I've always kind of liked Sejuani anyway, and she got reworked to be pretty disgusting in my opinion. The tank rework has made for quite a lot of comedy material. It has to be said. But yeah, I'm completely open to a pick next. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I think, yeah, Friday is going to be the day we do Why I Hates, if we can make it happen. But beyond that, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday are going to be the days that we upload now. So I want you guys to be there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. GMT is probably the time I'm going to upload. So set it on your fucking Google Calendar. Get that notification bell. Switch the heck on. I never ask people to do that. But smack that motherfucking bell button. Make sure that when Ross comes a knocking, you fucking answer the call. But beyond that, guys, like, donate to my Patreon, subscribe on Twitch as well, and I'll see you later. Bye.